Trivalent technology was implemented with the Warfighter in mind. Our initial client has been within the Department of Defense to offer a data protection solution, which means very stringent compliance requirements for it to carry classified data. We're releasing this kind of technology now on the commercial side to protect patient data because we want to make it very easy to use. We had to work with very low computing environments, so we could not introduce a lot of latency and become an enabler again for the user to not have to worry about how do I store this data or if I get compromised, what happens to it. A perfect example would be in the case of ransomware, which is prevalent within the healthcare industry. It's a very lucrative space. A lot of providers don't have the means to fight that sort of attacks. But by having a solution that's real-time and offers data protection, not just when the device is off and it's, let's say, in the case of theft, but also when you're actively on it using it, reduces the risk of somebody taking your data as well as holding your ransom against it. The way it works is a process that we call data alchemy. We call it this because we are essentially changing the properties of the data, and as such, if you think of a normal document, after we process it, it becomes little disconnected pieces of scrambled up encrypted data that have no relevance between each other to a bad actor trying to access it. So in essence, we're changing the property of that document into something that's completely unusable. So this applies for a rogue administrator who may gain access to the device, but still will not be able to access the user data. So we provide that level of separation between existing security mechanisms and data protection to support a defense-in-depth security strategy. So we just announced the availability of our Windows data protection solution. Trivalent builds software to protect enterprises and from data theft. And we do this because we want to enable the user or the practitioner or the clinician to perform their duties without having to worry about meeting regulatory requirements as they're collecting patient data so that they can be effective at their jobs. We coined this term that security stays with the data on any device across any medium with the purpose in mind that the end user shouldn't have to worry about how the data is processed in order for them to be able to do their job effectively.